thumbs up. Okay, cool. Um, First thing I'm gonna go over is um, trade management, and I've been getting questions about what do I do um, when I'm into a trade. How do I know whether to get out of a trade if I'm in one, if it doesn't look right? And I just have a set of rules that help me overall to kind of make my judgment on the call. And like I said, every trade is a little different. And this is my business plan I did like a couple of years ago. I do update it sometimes, but I kind of know the rules by heart. So I will put it on here. And if you all want to pause it later when I post the webinar, you all can do so. But this is my business plan, which I had done and I had sent it to Mark years back. I have updated it over the years. We'll forget about all this, but money management here, this is the important bit. So, hold on, what did I do there? Messed it up. Well, okay. Anyway, so I will not risk any more than 1% on any trade. So I usually risk 1% now. It used to be 0.5, but I have increased that to 1% as I'm sticking with that for a couple of years now, as I've got more confident in my trades. Um, I will not risk more than 2% of my account balance. So that keeps me from entering into too many trades. I don't enter too many trades. So maximum will be two at a time. So that basically says 1% on each trade. Minimum 1 to 2 risk reward always. I will always use my stop loss and so on. It just goes there. Maximum trades 3 per week, just so that I don't take silly trades. I look at high quality trade setups. It used to be like 5 or 6 before, but then I started to realize the more trades I take, the more it backfires on myself. So I try to focus on like 2 or 3 good setups a week, and I'll take the one that gives me the best entry and best risk reward. Um, and if I'm taking positively correlated trades that we all know we have to half our risk, but I don't usually do that now. I try to just get into, so let's say I had a pound in USD, pound USD and euro USD. Rather than getting into both of them, I would just try to get into one of them and see which is the best one that will give me, allow me to hold a trade the longest. Because if I get in two, then I have to manage both of them. So if I have some euro news coming out, then I have to manage that. And if there's a pound news coming out, then I have to manage that. So it makes it less trickier. So I just get into one and then these are kind of the rules that before I place a trade checklist. So I've not done one for while I'm in the trade, but this kind of helps me out to decide on what to do. But anyway, so if I'm in the trade, so this one, I'm going to use this clip um, into the New Zealand USD trade that I post later when I close the trade. But so I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do now. So, this is live anyway. So um, I'm in the New Zealand USD trade, and we decided we are going to take the short, I think, couple of weeks back, since we had the breakout after the New Zealand USD, New Zealand cut the rates and the New Zealand tanked over there. Then we just needed the pullback, and it was a perfect M2 setup because you had multiple reasons. 200 daily, the what is this? The weekly 55, daily 55, 61.8, the round number just around in here. We had a perfect retracement, literally what you just see in the educational videos. It was the same thing. We also had a channel here. I don't rely on trend lines too much these days, but as they are subjective, but you can put like a channel in there if you like, something like this, looking at multiple touches. So you can see there's a descending channel. So we are looking for that retracement, putting the stop loss above the 78.6 sweep. And now we are looking for the trade to head towards our 0% retracement for in the Fibonacci. So the way I would manage this trade is first rule, we always, Mark always says, if the trade has done his daily range, look to take some profit, because you got to look at the characteristics of the pair you are trading. New Zealand USD moves around 50 odd pips. Pound USD moves around 80 odd pips. It's done 174 pips today. I will get into that a little bit later, why it might have done that much today. I think the euro has done 95, so euro is moving as well. But the New Zealand has not moved that much. It's done around 60, it's 10 pips more. So what I'm going to do is to secure some profits. We know we've been in slow markets. Today, after the bank holiday, the markets, I guess, have been more active because a lot of liquidity has come in. Um, we are at a level of support, as we can see there. So I always look to the left, what has happened in the past, to give me clues of what might happen in the future. It's not obviously going to do the same thing. It might do something else, but the probability is that it can also stop there because it's done it a few times. So what I'm going to do with this is, right now we are around 60 odd pips in profit. It's done the daily range, more than the daily range, normally does 48. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close 40% of the trade. I've got one lot on there. So I'm going to close 0.40, and I'm going to leave 0.6 lots on. So close 0.40. That's done. So I've secured some profit. And then I'm going to go on the 4 hour, and then I'm going to see, okay, where can I put my stop to reduce my risk on this trade? Well, I can clearly see that I can have a chance to make the trade break even. So I'm going to use that and put my stop loss over there. Now, we don't have the lower high just yet, so I don't want to put my stop loss above the 55 over here, because we could have a retracement. As you can see, it's bouncing off here, and this could come up and then reverse maybe somewhere here or even here and come back down again. So until it does that retracement, I will wait for that. And then when it does that and starts moving, then I will move my stops to trail the trade. Now, the other option you can do is, sometimes I've seen Mark do this as well, is he would put his stop over here just above the EMA. So you can do that as well. If you think the trade might come towards your entry, um, take out on your stop loss and then go down again. I have taken some profit, so I'm not too worried about it now because it's a risk-free trade. But I've seen Mark do that sometimes when, let's say, there's like a big news coming out and he wants to be in the trade, for example, and he doesn't want to move his stop loss just yet, like uh, below the entry level, because he thinks that maybe there could be a spike and then it could come down. But we have multiple EMAs here. So let's just say there was some news coming out and you wanted to be still in that trade. Then what you could do is you could just put your stop loss above the EMAs. So it is acting like as a roadblock over here. And then you're thinking that it could spike there and then come down again. So that could be another way you could be just keeping yourself in the trade. If there's some news coming out, you don't want to close the trade because you got a really good entry. It's running very well. Um, so you could use that option as well. Still remember, I think it was last year when on the dollar yen, he, I think we were both in the trade, me and Mark, and I took a partial profit. I moved my stop loss to break even. And what he did was, because he had those EMAs like this on the dollar yen, he kept the stop loss just below it. It was a buy, I remember this. And the NFP came out, and my trade got taken out, and he was still in it because he had kept his stop like just above or below, I think, the EMAs. So it kind of spiked around that level and then came down, and he, I think, ended up doing like 300 pips on that, and I did like 150. So he clearly won on that trade. Um, but yeah, every trade is different. You just got to look at what kind of news is coming out. Does it meet all the rules to for me to stay in the trade? But like over here, we're clearly going down. We're a new low here now. So I've moved my stop there. We'll wait for the lower high and then I will move the stops further. Um, when do I want to get out of a trade when I think it's not right? Um, well, firstly, with the rules, if the trade, for example, I entered here and let's say the news is coming out to do with the dollar or the New Zealand, but my trade is still in here near the entry. I would, if there was like few hours for the trade to come out, it's still there. I would just basically get out of the trade. For me, there's no reason for it to be here. I would just close the trade. Or what you could do is, if you want to kind of still be in the trade, instead of you risking whatever your original stop loss is, you could do the same thing. Instead of risking 600, let's say you think it is a good bet, you had multiple reasons, you could move your stop there, half the risk and still be in the trade. And that's if you're comfortable losing whatever the amount is. So let's just say you had put it there, you would then lose 100. And if it was over here, you would lose 260. So you're only losing $100, but you think the potential for this trade is good because it could go down and you could make $600 over there. So you could do that. There's plenty of options you could do to play around with the trade. But always look at the calendar, look at the trade, look at the technicals, and make a judgment call and see if it makes sense to be in the trade. Now, there was a pound USD last week. I got out of it because I just didn't like how the candle closed. And I was in this trade here. We had a new high being made and we got a pullback. And then we had the pin bar reversal candle. If you don't know your candlestick patterns, I urge you to just have a look at a YouTube video. We have some already in our members area, but that's a reversal candle. So I got into that. I'm looking for a long. So I got there. It was starting to go up. And then this 4 hour candle closed below the 200 and the daily 55, also closing below these lows over here. So that for me was kind of a red flag, thinking that this would continue to go down further. So I basically closed the trade. I took, I think, a 200, I said, or $150 loss. But my stop loss was around here. So looking at the event afterwards, it was a good idea I got out because I could have got taken out and it was around 10 pips away from my stop loss. So in that way, I kind of avoided a $600 loss, but I took $150 or $200 loss on that. So look at the technicals, but if this had closed above the 200, I would have stayed in it. Then later on, Friday came and the trade basically took off. And this was the Friday, I think it went up, but it only did about 50 odd pips. So it was not a lot anyway, didn't miss out. And then Monday continued bank holidays, so I wasn't really looking to get into this because it was not in here. I got into the New Zealand because it just ticked all the boxes for me among all the other trades. Um, like I said, multiple reasons. So that is on the trade management. Any other questions on that? Have I missed anything? Okay, we have a question. Do you have any weekly caps on profits? I'm assuming that means my take profit targets for the week, Alexi? Yes. Yeah, again, it depends on the seasons. Like in the summertime, I was saying, I think last week or a couple of weeks ago, 60 to 80 pips is like a reasonable target to have for the week. Again, it depends what pair you're trading. Like if you're trading the pound USD, you can expect the pair to move around 100 odd pips. So if you're in that trade, then expect to at least bank around 100 on that. But it's also on like how the calendar is, because the news is one of the catalysts that can cause volatility in the markets. So again, if I'm trading like the New Zealand, I wouldn't expect too much out of it. But if I'm trading like the pound, I would expect more. Or if I'm trading, for example, dollar yen, that does about 120. And look what it's done today. If I'm trading the euros, I know these pairs move a lot. So then I would have my targets like 120, 150 odd pips um, for when I'm in the trade. Um, hope that answers the question. Can you partially close on C trader? I'm in the same trade, want to close 60%. Last time, oh yeah, yeah, it's really weird how it is on the C trader then. Um, Tell you how fast you expect to close the trade. Wait, so I'll answer Dan's question first. So I'll put in a link, Dan, in the chat box, and I was having a look at it because I was going to close it on my live account, which I've closed on the GUI trade, but I watched this video before I did that because it's quite the opposite. Because I had the same problem. I was trying to. I had a one lot on, and I was trying to close 70% of the like it did end up doing the opposite. It just closed almost all the trade. So I'll put this link. It's quite the opposite. So when you're closing the partial profit, you have to put the opposite number in it. So it's really so. Let's say now I closed 40% on MetaTrader. I put zero point 0.4, right? But on C Trader, you have to put zero point 0.6 and then it closes zero point 0.4 lots. It's really weird. But I'll put this link in the in the chat box. So just have a look on there. It's towards the end, they're showing you, but you can just watch the whole video. It's like 1 minute, 30 seconds. Um, they show it towards the end over here, how to close the partial profit. Even he got it wrong in there. I don't think he realized. But he was meant to close like zero point 0.1 and he closed 0.9 lots. So you have to just do the opposite. You'll see what I mean. But watch the video, and that should solve that issue. Okay, I think I've covered Earth and Sky. Oh yeah, Mark has put an update um, in the website. So have a look at that. He's I think this was the post. I don't know if it's the same one as the one he did on the Your Investing Future, but have a look at that. He's going to be back this week for the update. His holidays are coming to an end, but just have a look at that. He thinks the altcoins could go up. I think that's what it is over here, the altcoin market. So have a look at that. He's put an update. He will post an his Forex weekly analysis for the week ahead on the weekend. What else do we have? The yield curves. So Tianis made a really good article about yields and bonds and how it is all related to stock markets, currency markets, and so on, and why they are important. And I was also studying a bit on that because the UK gilts 30-year has climbed to 5.66%, highest since 1998. We didn't have this all this while. The last time it went up very high was when Truss was Truss government was in power, which was in 2022, which resulted in the prime minister getting basically fired from the cabinet. And it is alarming because the borrowing costs are going to be increasing. But then I was looking a bit behind into like what does it really mean in general, and I was just asking ChatGPT because my knowledge on bonds is as good as anyone else in in here with us. But I know like bonds are quite related with the yen pairs because they hold 1.1 trillion of US government debt. So whenever the bonds go down, or sell off, then it would strengthen the yen. Like there's a positive correlation. But in general, when yields rise, um, growth and inflation outlooks are improving. High yields attract foreign capitals, which is why the pound was pretty strong, I think, because of the yields also rising. But then the dollar has also rebounded, which is, I think, playing a part into the weakness of the majors, because we can see across the board, it's not just the pound that is going, it's the euro that has moved. The pound has also moved a lot, and dollar CAD is going up at the moment. AUD is going down. New Zealand is going down. So we can see that it is clearly dollar strength. The pound has gone a lot more, and I think that's because the yields are rising. They're at all-time highs. So that is quite alarming for the government because of the government debt, and they have to pay this amount to the investors who have bought their debt. But in general, um, it is yields rise due to inflation figures are real good. So that's a step that the currency will go down if the market think the central bank is behind the curve, leading to loss of confidence, debt, sustainability concerns. This is what I was talking about just now. The UK gilt crisis in 2022 when the pound tanked literally to almost $1. Um, and then he's talking about just when the yields or dollar rise, among the other ones, the dollar strength to strengthen. But usually, generally, if the longer term yields rise, that's a good for the currency. If everything else is going in line with like inflation and the growths are genuine. So rising yields, healthy growth, bullish for the currency. Rising yields from inflation, debt fears, bearish or less supportive. So I think we might be there with pound over here, because you can see clearly in the charts, the reals are rising, long-term yields are rising, but the pound is actually dropping. Then I just said MAP is for the pound, and currently just says bullish for the pound, but the overall outlook, it might affect the pound uh, in the shorter term right now, as we can see. So the pound is dropping at the moment. Um, and what else was I going to cover? Yeah, the yields are rising there. So have a look at those articles and Google yourself to just educate yourself a bit more on yields and how they can affect all the currencies. Nothing else. News calendar, let's have a look at that. Um, Inflation came out. So I think they're not expecting euro to cut rates further for the year, and they are already at 2.5, 2.15. The US is expected to cut rates by 25 points. I think they were saying would expect at least 0.5, but let's see what happens. The GDP is out tonight on the Aussie. Jobs opening is tomorrow. ADP is tomorrow. Expected not many jobs being made this from the last month. So that looks quite an alarming figure, 75K. Um, Maybe if we could expect, I don't know, a really bad figure this week. I don't want to trade NFP anyway, so my week ends on Thursday this week. But have a look at the calendar, and I think it will set a direction for next week towards the end of the week. Um, right, let's get into some trades and charts. So dollar Swissy, this flag pattern looks really promising now. This bounced off the 78.6 sweep, and this is, I think, a 250 odd pip flag pattern. So we are expecting the move to be up here. The way I would trade this, and I was going over this with someone else yesterday, I would wait for the breakout and then the pullback and then look to take the trade over here. I know we have a resistance just in here, but you're trading the flag pattern. So you're looking to play that out, if that makes sense. And then, you could take some profit here, leave the rest of the trade to run to complete the flag pattern. And then I would also look to enter again at another position in here once we have the breakout of this level of resistance, which is previously support, as we can clearly see over here. So then we can go there 50 pip stop to then make 170 odd pips potentially. So two ways to play that out on one trade. Euro USD, not really looking to long this again in here. And then this is one of those times I'm getting a gut feeling this will actually go through. Like I was saying, whenever I trade ranges, whenever I'm looking to take the trade, it will not do it. It will just do the complete opposite. Maybe spike me out and then go up, or just go the other way around. But I'm not going to go for it. Dollar is rising at the moment, as we can see. It is in a range still, but if we get the breakout there, then that gives you a red flag to not enter the Euro USD long over here to take it back up higher. But that was potentially a good trade all this time over here, as we can see, going back in time. Right. Pound. The pound, I'm just gonna wait and see what happens here. But if you were looking to trade that, that's clearly a long over here. Can put this trend line is not the best, but um, we could put it there. But you're looking for a spike somewhere near. That's a big stop. You'll have to go maybe on the 4 hour to see there. It's not the best area for me to take a long. This thing has spiked 64 pips. It's one to watch where I would wait for a reversal over here. But if this daily candle closes below this strong level of support, which is also resistance, then what you could do is wait for a pullback, go on the 4 hour and wait for a lower high to form over here, and then take the trade 50 pip stop. And then that makes sense because the risk reward is great. And then you can get out on the trend line over here where it's bounced off before. So that's the way I would play this one out. The long looks a bit more risky to me. Dollar CAD, there was a chance to take this reversal, but I was looking at the short time frame, but I didn't go for it. But anyway, it's a little choppy at the moment. Over here, you would look to take a short, say 80 odd pair. You can see if it reacts in the same way. Not a forward order for me. Forward order would be, let's say it stopped here, and then tomorrow it did 87 pips, which would be more than a daily average. Then maybe I would go for it. You could put a Fibonacci in there. Yeah, looks interesting. Not a forward order just yet for me. Sorry, I forgot Alexis' questions in the um, chat box. Do you have any time limits on how fast you expect the trade to go in profit? Like if it hovers over in the same area around entry or below for a few days, will you exit? Um, Usually the best thing is if you can get the entry at the start of the week, because then it gives you the whole week to kind of stay in the trade. Because if there's some news coming out just before the end of the week, then I would look to get out if it doesn't go anywhere. But if I am in the trade, ideally I would like it to go in my direction within a couple of days. Um, but yeah, sometimes it needs some kind of news to move. So if it hovers in the same area and there's news coming out, just get out of the trade. Don't gamble. Dan has asked a question. Could you please review Euro Aussie on trading view, bullish structure, bigger picture, current bearish pullback on the daily, waiting for breakout structure to take a long. The recent Euro news was slightly bullish on stable. Upcoming Euro and Aussie news on the same day. How will you enter this trade at all? Yeah, I'll go into that. Missed the CAD yen. My analysis played out, but I was focused on the news. Yeah, I didn't enter the CAD yen then because I just found it a bit dodgy because the dollar yen was just consolidating. But yeah, technically that Aussie yen and CAD yen look like clear breakouts by looking at it now, but I was just not confident in them. Could you please send over the C Trader YouTube link. I think I have posted it. Oh, sorry. I did not. I'll post it now. It was on host and ban list. Um, Understood. Thank you. Okay, that's the link now in the chat box. Right, where was I? Um, Dollar CAD. I would just. I prefer the long, over here. Um, if it breaks out, but I'm not really into the short. It's only around like a day trade. But let's see. I will let you know if I try to get into it. AUD, USD, it does look good for a long here, but I wouldn't do so because dollar is rising and I'm in a New Zealand USD short. So if I'm taking a long there, I'm just doing the complete opposite of what my initial intention was. So not going to look at AUD right now. If it breaks below all of this here, then that goes with my overall bias of shorting the majors and long in the dollar. Euro pound, I'm still waiting. And this one, the euro is rising because the pound is dropping a lot more. Then the euro is 130 pips away. Move my stop slightly lower, just below the EMA is there, but leaving that one alone, not too concerned, is far away. It does 40 pips in a day. What has it done today? 60. So yeah, that one is looking fine for a forward order. New Zealand yesterday I've gone over. New Zealand CAD also was looking attractive, but it did not come to the area, so I did not take this. There is a level of resistance there and support, but where are my multiple reasons? I don't have anything to put my stop above, so did not take that. Quite an easy one. Aussie CAD, no, I just never liked this. You said the EMA is there now, but I just wouldn't go for it. Um, Dollar yen. So yeah, this one does look really good now. It's breaking above the EMAs, and I was saying if the dollar yen breaks out, I would look to long this one. So wait for the daily kind of break, and then wait for the pullback. This could be a forward order for me. I'll put the forward order maybe at 148, 150, 45 pips stop, and then the potential is about 270 odd pips. But wait for the daily candle close. This is closing above this, making a new high, as you can see there. So giving us a very good clue about it wants to go up high. So I would look at this. New Zealand yen. So this one gets a bit tricky, like I said. Dollar yen is going up. So this one now, I wouldn't really look for a short. If the dollar yen had broke to the downside, I would have then looked at this to take a short on this. But you can see this is rising at the moment. Um, Basically, New Zealand dollar yen are kind of fighting it out. This is why it's not moving a lot. So only done 40 odd pairs. Normally does 70. It has multiple reasons, but like I just mentioned, the dollar yen is the boss. And if that is giving you a clue that is going up, then all the yen pairs, you can see there, that is going up. CAD yen has gone up higher. That was the trade, but I was just not confident in it. I would take it now if it comes back again, 50 pip stop, and then to take it back up. Same with the Aussie yen. If it needs a pullback, 40 odd pips, and I'm looking to take it up higher. And this is another clue here. Aussie yen is going up, so why would I not think New Zealand yen would break up above the EMAs and go up higher? So yeah, for now I just kept the Fibonacci just to keep it here because of how the trade looks, but I would not get into it. Euro Aussie. I will go on this on TradingView, but it is at a trend line, and I would not look to take a trade on it just yet because looking at M2, it is currently stuck in between the EMAs. And look at this, it's respecting the 200 and 4-hour 55 as well. Very good. So until this breaks above, then I will look to take the trade 40 pip stop and then to take it back up. So that's the M2 bit, but I will wait for the breakout above to take the trade. Pound New Zealand. um, I just put a trend line in here. The 55 is creeping up in here, but with the pound dropping, let's see. It's one to watch where I will look for a reversal to take it back up. Um, Not interested just yet, but when it comes in there, I will have a look for a reversal. Euro pound, Euro cat, sorry. I will show this on TradingView on how I'm looking to play it. Um, any other questions so far? Any trade I haven't looked at? Oh, I know a couple of you were looking at Aussie Swissy, and let's have a look at this. Yeah, I think you were looking for a short, but just be careful because this one is like the boss for all the Swiss pairs, cross pairs. So if this is rising, it's like the yens. Just be careful. This could also go up higher. But this one, I would just wait. This is the same thing what's happening in here. So wait for a clear break, either up or down, and then look to take the trade. If you're looking for the short, which I can understand why, wait for the breakout below all these EMAs and then take the trade. And then you can put your stop loss above here, 20 pip stop to take it back down for around 70. Usually the Swisses, I don't like to short them because of the swaps. They charge you like it's ridiculous. How much is it? Let's look at Aussie Swissy. Specification to be in a trade to take a short charges you about $8 a day. And if you're holding it to tomorrow, it's going to be 3 times. 8 threes are 24. So that, yeah. Um, yeah, I prefer longing the Swiss pairs usually. But yeah, just wait on that for now. Okay, trading view. Whoa, quite a lot there. Um, New Zealand is running. Um, I will leave that alone. EuroCAD. I was looking to take this. Basically, I'm just on trading. I just look at support and resistance without anything on. Um, like I've shown you before. I've shown you plenty of examples before. We had the breakout, we got the pullback, but I haven't kind of like this thing happened like overnight. So I did not really want to enter around 10 o'clock because the spreads are horrendous. So we haven't really got a confirmation to enter the trade just yet. I will wait for a pullback in here, ideally closer to this level, and then take the short. So we haven't got that, so I've left that alone. I don't really want to enter in here. It doesn't make sense to risk all that to then make it to take profit over here. So 140 odd pip move with a risk of potentially 40 odd pips. So wait for the pullback and then look to take the trade. Euro USD, again, the long doesn't look too promising right now. You have this trend line which you could use to your advantage. Wait for the breakout. If it closes below, you have this EMAs over there. And there you can see the daily. There's a monthly on my MetaTrader. So let's say you could put that line over there and then wait for the breakout pullback and then look to take the short if that happens. Um, but let's see how the dollar is doing, Don't want to predict something too much. Um, but yeah, that looks right now. I would look to take a short over there if the dollar keeps rising. Euro Aussie. So to answer Dan's question, if you look at structure, um, this is like the M2 is helping me out here to kind of not get into the trade just yet. And I need a clear break. For me, ideally, I would like this to close above because I know whenever it breaks up high, it stays up over here, as we can see. And this is resistance over there. So safer way to play this is wait for a break above, pull back, and then long. Then you have the potential for this trade to do, what is it? This is 179. 181. This is about 100 and it's about 200 odd pips over there. So wait for that. If you want to get in on the confirmation, this needs to clearly change the structure. We are currently in a downtrend. This is consolidation, but we need a new high, high, low, and then the confirmation to come somewhere in here, and then you can take the trade. If you want to be conservative, wait for the close to be above here, and you got to get in like right here, and then that will be a really good entry. So that's what I'm waiting for. So it's just like over here, like this is the candle there. So you had this high, and then you're waiting for the confirmation. So then made a high low and then the high. So you would enter it right here, possibly. Um, and then you would put your stop, like you would put it there, and then that would be your trade. So you're looking for the same pattern over here, but you need to wait. Pound CAD, I was waiting for this. Again, did not get a chance to enter this, but I was pointing this out, last week, I think. We were consolidating, we had to break out. We now wanted the retracement. It's literally done the same thing as EuroCAD. Breakout, retracement, and then we had the move down. And we are seeing the same thing over here. This one has moved a lot more. Currently on the daily, it is in an uptrend, but I was saying on the 4 hour, that is a downtrend. As we can see, lower high, lower lows. Um, this happened overnight, so I did not enter. For these kind of trades, I look to ideally enter in New York, London or New York, um, because then uh, you you are in the session that has the most volatility. The pound, I said over here, this is where I'm looking for that lower high. As you can see, this looks like it's not going to play the head and shoulder pattern out by the looks of it. So I might have to delete that. Um, Looks like it wants to head towards this level, 132. So we'll wait on that a little bit more. Dollar Swissy, um, I will look to take a long now. I'm looking to play that flag pattern. So my EMA is there. So let me delete this fib and I'll wait for that breakout and then I will look to take the trade. So I'll have my trend line over there. So wait for the breakout, pull back, and that could be a forward order for me. And my position will look something like this. Put a 50 pip stop. I'm looking to take it up high here. AUD, I had an alert in here for a long, but we'll see what happens with the dollar. Can the dollar really get stuck at this daily 55 or can it break up higher? I guess wait for the New York session and see what happens. I've secured my trade on New Zealand yesterday. It's a risk-free trade, taken off 40% of the trade, hoping that it can go down a bit more. If you do get a daily candle close below this level, then that's really good. Currently, it's stuck over there, as you can see. But yeah, the next 4 hour will be quite crucial for me to see whether I can take a little bit more off. If we do get a close like here, then I will keep it running and then take my partial profits along the way. I think I've gone over all these already. And anything happening on these? Gold is making all-time highs again. Aussie Cadet Online. Yeah. Okay, let's go on to Earth and Sky. I've taken out the pairs that uh, did not meet the rules. Pierre had put some in here, but I don't think you will even catch these because they're just taken off already and the dollar yen is going up. So I don't think And pound yen, as you can see, is already gone down. So that violates all the rules anyway. And these don't meet the rules. The ones I've included are, so this one does not meet the rules either. The ones I've included are Aussie yen. So meets very well with my logic of waiting for the pullback over here. The same thing I'm looking over here. So definitely a trade I will look to take if it pulls back. And then I will be looking to take it up further for a long. I think the same goes with CAD. If it does pull back, I'm not sure if I missed out on CAD, unless it did not meet the rules because the breakout happened, like the move happened today. Oh, so this is there. So we could use the CAD as well as an example. So my Earth and Sky zone will be here, and so you are looking to take the trade anywhere in here, 45 pip stop to take it back up. So yeah, that meets the rules as well, as you can see there. Um, okay, any other questions? In your experience, what brokers give the closest EMAs to global prime? I have IC markets, but my EMAs are very far away from yours. Have you tested Blackpool markets MT4 for M2 data? No, I haven't, Dan. I can give it a try. I just, as you know, I just use the live platforms to like just execute the trade, and I do my all my analysis on global prime over here. But I can give it a try. I can have a look and let you know. Um, you are in Australia, isn't it? Yeah. So do you not use global prime as a broker? You could use Tickmill. That's the one Mark recommends now. We are quite reliable. So you could use their demo and have a look. His EM is quite well, I think, with that. That's what Mark said to me. No problem, Clive. You're welcome. Yeah, if we get close below this, ideally, then that looks really good for the trade to go down further. 160 is too optimistic. I'll have to move my target a little bit higher, like to there. Yeah. Okay. Um, crypto, I was saying in here, I was a good buy there. Um, I think I'm waiting to see if this can come down further to 102, 105, but might not happen. But if I can get it there, I have some cash available to put into Bitcoin. So I'm going to buy there. I had taken some profits on CRO, which I'm going to look to put in other coins that do a pullback, like maybe add a, what was the other one I was looking at? XRP, I'm waiting to buy at $2. Solana, it's going up. Um, if it comes down, I'll buy more. And not putting more into meme coins. I've already put enough, I think. And yeah, stock market opens today, so I'll have a look at coin. If we get a drop to around 280, I will look to buy there more. MSTR, I already bought a few, so I won't look to buy that. Mark is more heavy on coin, so I'll go with what he's doing, the same thing. And Wolf, I took some profit at 90% last time, so I will buy more at this over here, 750 monthly 200. Paladine, I bought in here at the trend line there. EMAs. So that was a good buy. Nvidia, we're going to see if Nvidia is going to drop, but so wait for the stock market open and then I'll make a decision on that. Okay, I think I've covered quite a lot today. Hope we found that useful. Um, and I will put this kind of clip, some of it in the educational area for you all to see how I managed that trade today on New Zealand dollar. Hope all have found that useful. And I will see you all in the forum. And good luck with your trades. And don't trade NFP. Um, okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. And I'll see you all soon. And keep an eye on Mark's post on the weekend for next week's analysis. Thank you.